Yeah, thank you for joining the meeting. So we already have started discussed two items already. One is for the mixture of embedded models. So basically, right now, the semantic router providing the chat completion API at the moment. So in the next phase, we are also going to provide the embedding service and also re-rank service based on classifications. So you also has provided this embedded model of specialization fine-tuning which is going to be used in our pipeline for the eventual service. And then we have not started the re-rank model yet, but hopefully that can be picked up by somebody else in the community as well. So the whole idea is that when we see prompts or just textual strings, we want to classify the domains, and then we're using specialized embedded models or re-rank models to do the job instead of based on the generic models which are based on certain research articles proved to be very effective on that kind of applications. The second items we want to discuss is right now we have all this chat replay plugin, meaning that if you are ingest all these chats into the router, we can replay these historical chats and decision making processes, and we can use that as a reinforced pipeline ingestion points, so we can have a better decision making processes once we learn from historical reasoning, and then we can have a and the loop to make everything work in the improved way, continuously improved way. And then maybe we can just have a very quick introduction. I see somebody who are just joining. If you don't mind, share with us what you are doing and what your potential interests, and then we can go ahead and go through this status and then the future deliveries in the next discussion. If you don't mind, I just call the name. I know Saraf, you have been around for a while. Maybe I can start with you for first.
Sure. Hi. Yeah. So I'm from Intel, and we are part of the AI software engineering team. We were actually part of the R&D team at Intel, and we recently reorged into the AI software engineering under DCAI under the data center team. And basically, we are charted with exploring orchestration, routing, and explore the new algorithms and pathfinding for our products. And in that regard, we have started playing around with NVIDIA Dynamo. We have started looking at semantic router, the vLLM plugin, and we saw that there's already it has been integrated with the semantic router. And on the other side, we are also working with ML Commons organization to help on various evaluation strategy or creation of safety evaluation models. So we are building these mixture of experts for modern BERT based on modern BERT for the safety classifiers for ML Commons that are part of the AI Illuminate benchmarking platform. So they have various generative and discriminative evaluators and ensembles, and we are building currently the discriminative classifier that will become part of the ensemble. So with that in mind, I joined a couple of weeks ago, and I also invited my colleagues Chachi and Sahishnu today to join to understand how we can contribute here, what are the PRs that are interesting, and with our team. Previously, we have published a lot, and we have also worked on GRPO based reinforcement learning algorithms for adversarial prompt generation method. So basically, figuring out how to increase, do some kind of dynamic red teaming against the models. By that, we mean we dynamically we train a prompter model to become more uh, adversarial, to generate prompts that can evoke better or that can attack the LLM
Okay.
in a better way. So yeah, those are some of the themes, and we since Shajik Saishnu also joined, we would I think they're new here, so it will be nice if you can orient us a little bit better into You had mentioned last time you were also looking at long BERT, like trying
Yeah,
to bring in some kind of long context extension to modern BERT. So those are some
yeah.
of the things that we can immediately jump on from our side.
Okay. So if you don't mind, I just quickly jump into this discussion and then we will continue the introduction. So, so last time we discussed there's so many things going on in the guardrail, and many of the guardrail models has its own advantages and disadvantages. If you're looking at the encoder model, they can do things really fast, but they have limitations on the context window. And also you have the training the trainer model from time to time. On the decoder side, NVIDIA is here. So the NVIDIA Nemo provide one of these ways to using the fine-tuned Llama models to get the answers, from different angle. But we do see the latency could be a huge concern. So we want to marry the benefits of both world, the encoder world and decoder world, by providing this new burst model, modern burst model that supports flash attention, supports long context window, and then we can using that as a foundation for all these classifications. So we can reduce the latency and we can improve the long content support. So this is the conclusion we had on the last discussion here. Um, so towards that end, we have successfully got these long birds based on modern birds. And then we have do some more experimentation. We do see some certain advantages. So the discussion potentially agenda for today is to discuss whether that is the foundation we want to pursue for the next iteration for guardrail and more things to come. Sorry, I just jumped in a little bit. Maybe I can just continue the introduction first. Sachi, if I get your name right, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Shachi, and working at Intel, and I'm a part of Saurav's team. And as Saurav mentioned, been involved with a lot of the work that he talked about. More recently, I've been looking at Dynamo, and I've also been interested in routing and more efficient tool calling and amongst other things. So thanks for introducing me to this, Saurav, and yeah, happy to be part of this and looking forward to contribute.
Thank you. Sashinu?
Hello everyone. I'm Saishnu, so I'm an AI research scientist at Intel. So previously I was part of Intel Labs. Now we moved to Intel AI software research team. So I'm working with Saurabh, so under Saurabh as well. So my main research area revolves around like NLP and computer vision, and I have experience in working with continual learning and out of distribution detection and other knowledge and reasoning areas as well. Recently, I've been exploring more on the LM optimization side, as well as like how to optimize the agentic pipeline and tool calling optimization and heterogeneous scheduling of tool calls across like heterogeneous platforms. So and we have started exploring vLLM Semantic Router, Dynamo, and other things for that. So yeah, I'm really excited to join this um, forum and looking ahead to contribute. Yeah, thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
So I just had one more add on to this tool calling. Uh, so there are so many things that we can discuss through the way, but just before I forget everything, so the tool calling safeguarding is also under our evaluation. So if you look at the models that we fine tuned over the time, that's one of the tool verifier is specific for tool calling guardrailing classification. It's still work in progress, but we hopefully, through the collaboration and continuous improvements, we can improve this tool calling, safeguarding classifier, so we can have broader coverages.
Nice. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, that sounds
Okay.
interesting.
So David, if you can just respond, introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, David Edelson at NVIDIA, just part of the disaggregated inference team. Just wanted to understand more how progressing with the semantic routing and vLLM.
Yeah, that's great. So one of the recent PRs from the community is to try to classify different prompts. So that's how we get different royalty signals. So one of these PR is about the prompts length. So if I understand the profile and the decoding, you separate the profile and you want to optimize the flows from profile to decode to utilize both GPUs to the maximal utilization. So one of the potential ideas is that we balance the profile workload just by selecting the prompts to be approximately balanced on different GPUs or different backends. So we are not overloading the profile nodes where we can just keep the decoding, to be the max to work as seamless. And we cannot decide the decoding, but we can balance the profile load balancer. That has to be done in two ways. One is the latency, to see what's the potential queue length of each of the vLLM backends. And the second is that's the length of the profile. So by calculating the potential estimates the token from each of the prompts, so we can balance the profile workload. Decode side, that is something beyond our control. But hopefully we can just hopefully we can balance that kind of achieve that kind of load balancing. All right. Maybe you can just go to the next person in line, Sinan. I know you're ready, but just introduce yourself to the community.
Hey, hello all. My name is Sinan. I'm working for Red Hat. I'm joining the vLLM Semantic Auto effort to develop the project, working on different features with my team. I'm a manager of engineering, and we are contributing to the next milestones, the Athena release of Semantic Router.
Thank you. And also Fan, if you can just introduce yourself.
Hi, folks. Glad to see everyone. I'm Fang. I'm currently working as a software engineer at Unity for their inference system. Right, so I'm excited to collaborate with you and contribute to the project. Thanks.
Right. So let me just fill I know we have not got time to fill up the sign up sheet. Let me share my screen so right. So I know this has been a very collaborative community, and a lot of people in this meeting has already made a lot of contributions. Salan and his co-workers provided many of the signals in the recent report, in the recent PRs, and there's still many in the pipeline. So I appreciate a lot of help. So as we are growing the number of signals, the natural question is how we are going to operationalize, make sure that some of the features and the combination of certain signals will do a great good for the operation. So I had a discussion with Sunan's team a while back to create to fine tune an LM model to generate the configuration on the fly. So meaning that we fine tune the models to give the models reasoning capabilities. So it will understand what the human's desire through natural language and it generates the configuration, so we can just consume it. The model can be hosted in a playground that we are currently using, or can be used as the offline inference for people who want to generate the configuration offline. So if you're going to the discussion page, there's a discussion for that idea. If that's something you find out you can help, that's great. If not, by no means this is obligational, but just to keep in mind that as we are growing the features, we are eventually going to use in models to generate the configuration, not to be reason by hand. So any questions for that? All right. So if you also have anything you want to add to the agenda, feel free. This is everybody can copy it. I can add it. Let me just share it on the. Right. The second is on the CI. So what we looking at the CI requirement expectation is that we want to be have good coverage on the source code itself. The verification, unit test, integration test. These are wonderful tools, but I don't think we have these capabilities to run the real deployments. Meaning that we deploy the model, and we put all this configuration, classification, and we see what is going on in the pipeline. I think this is something we can leverage the recent donation from AMD to help us to integrate the whole full pipeline with a GPU backend. So we can run everything from scratch and to see how the model-based classification and how that will work in tags with the LLM models we are going to use. So I have this public beta here in place. So this is basically one of the proposals, potential ways we can get these GPU instances provisioned and then run different configuration scenarios. And then we run for extended time for people to use and then figure out how strong, how weak of all different combinations of signals or combinations of models. And so for that end, we can have a better ways to release our code base, also the configurations. So this is something hopefully we can make it happen. I have been away for a week, so I have not got updated on this thing yet, but hopefully I can get more time on this and get a successful run to provision the GPUs from the digital cloud. And then we can just use the GPU for configurations everybody can use.
Hwamin, just so that everybody understands this better, these are to use GPU-based models for the classifier, or just for the backend, or both?
For everything. So we have a clean environment. We provision the router, we provision the vLLM, and also create the configurations in each of the public beta proposal. And then once everything's kicked in by the CI, and then everything, the instance will be created, and we can just use that for public beta. Yeah, because we have a playground. It's not HTTPS. So we have a playground, but that playground is very opinionated. There's only single model, I think. Oh, okay, there's more models. Maybe Shinzo is doing something in the background. So we have quite a few models already. But this is, I suspect maybe he has a better GPUs to run everything. All right, so maybe one of the ideas we have get any of the GPU backends, GPU instances from AMD, and then run all these configurations and see how this model, what's the vLLM configuration policies, routing policies, and what's the decision configurations should be in, and then we can just evaluate how better or worse of each of the signals. And then whether that's, for example, the guardrail can be really in place to guardrail some of the malicious attack or something like that. So we can just
can you do a quick demo run right now on this?
Yeah, so I think who's this playground? Right, so this is a GPT model. So you can see the decision. This is a fast QA English. What the reasoning is turned off, and whether that is using embedded model for evaluation or not. And that is required the fact checking. So it's a required fact checking. So if for those who are familiar with the project, if you require fact checking, that is the path to the hallucination detection. So this is English. So the routing, one of the routing signals is based on language. So this is something that we can use. So eventually we want to have everybody to have the capability to run the beta test of their own. So by using the GitOps provisioning process, So you can just provision a system on your own and then using the similar mechanisms to get everything configured. So at the moment, the configuration is done manually. All these signals, routing decisions are created manually. And we do not know which one is being, the best one and whether that is in place, is working or not. The metrics has to be evaluated.
So
I
is
think
there a reservation system, or is it just
yeah, so that's what the PI is about. The PI is a reservation system. Basically, it creates a GitHub report, it creates a PR, and then the CI will just look at your PR and then create an instance for you.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so that is one of the things. So if you have any ideas how to get just review it, see if this is the process you want to use, and what's going to be the next step to take. This is going to be decided hopefully by the PR. So proposals. Sorry, I have not looked at greatly on the GitHub issues. Maybe that is something people can just share, what you have in mind. If there's anything that you see, you can chime in, or something not covered by your best interest. Maybe we can just discuss it here.
Just a quick note from my side. I'm right now looking at some topics in the responses API, but also looking at some other areas which I'm anyway discussing with Sinan and others.
Thank you.
And also interested in the recursive learning based retraining thing.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
All right. Do we have any demo? I don't think we have the demo today. But there's a YouTube channel. Okay. So there's a YouTube channel. You can find also the demo over there, as always. If you have wonderful demos you want to link, just share us the link, and then we are going to add it to the playlist. All right, now come to the most exciting side of the meeting, the discussions. Maybe I just jumped too quickly. I want to have some of the discussions on creating these guardrail models, best practices. We have discussed this for a few meetings, and then we also have very quickly went through what's going to be our architecture and process to go. So the gist is that there's so many things that we can work together in this project, and hopefully we can create a reference implementations for the broader communities, either under the PyTorch Foundation or just for the IAM Commons. The core idea is that the datasets curation, what kind of datasets we're going to use for guardrail model training, and the model choice, and for speed and accuracy balance, what could be the way to go. And the third one is the framework, how you're going to use this, whether that is inline, offline, or in parallel. So these are three things. I think we can create a lot of collaborative efforts to be the one, share with learn something, share with the community, and generate some outcome. If you just stand one step further, if you look at most of the guardrails, they are very generic, right? So they look at the toxicity, bias, something like that, but they do not go into depth of what kind of risk posed into the organizations. As we see more and more model providers, like frontier model providers, they get stronger on content generation, and the request for guardrail models needs to seek new territories or new directions that will be more focused on end user use cases. Naively, may not be the case to go. So Yossi has experimented with the medical datasets on the model, embedded model fine-tuning, and he found out that's a huge improvement on the model accuracy compared to generic models. If we are extend that idea into the direction of a vertically integrated domains, like just say medical, finance, we are going to see a lot of the potentials of guardrails in these domains. Generic guardrail models does not distinct the poor and the good financial advice. If you just make a recommendation, say you balance your 401k more towards stock markets at age of 59, that's actually against the financial advisor's rule. Right? You are not going to be more risk taking as a senior age. But that kind of advice can be easily allowed by the generic guardrail models. So what I mean is that if you are looking at the specialized domains, sensitive, highly regulated domains, there's no guardrail models, as far as I know, in that area, right? So if we are able to pull out guardrail models for that specialized domain in the industry, that could be something that we are creating for the community for free. And it goes to the extent that we do the specialization, the model specialization routing, model, content specialization embedding, and the domain specialized guardrail for the community all these three things in one shot. If that's something you think that is makes sense to you, and you have bandwidth and aligns with your objective goal, your career goal or just your assigned work, maybe you can just using that as a springboard to create these reference implementations, so we can all enjoy the outcome through a collaborative way.
Is it fair to say that we would need both the pairing of the domain-specific model as well as domain-specific guardrail to
Yeah.
go together? Like we need pairs, right? This is the domain-specific model, and correspondingly, this is the domain-specific guardrail for that model.
Yeah. So everything is on a specialized way. We have LoRa for models classification. Sorry, the prompt classification, and also embedding LoRa for the embedding service. And then we also have this guardrail LoRa for domain-specific guardrail protection, jailbreaking protection, or anything in that range. So this could be an interesting investigation, and I think that's where actually serves our customer. They are not, just as I said, frontier model labs has done a great job in providing the best content possible. So if you are continuing that path of doing the generic guardrail, you are going to see diminished returns. But the domain-specific areas still requires a lot of investment, a lot of efforts you should be looking at. And that is the place actually generates the revenue for the customer, for the products. Right, so I will just put an item here. If you see that is something interesting and you want to collaborate, we can go into the details in the next meeting or just select channels.
Yeah, so can I quickly share what we are trying to explore right now?
Yeah, that'd be great. I will leave the screenshot to you.
Okay, so desktop. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we are trying to do right now is like this ML Commons right now. There is this working group called AI Illuminate, AI Risk and Reliability, and they have developed their benchmarking platform called Model Bench with these 15 hazard categories. These are like hate and child sexual exploitation to suicide, self-harm. Basically, they divide it into physical, non-physical, and contextual. And contextual can be sexually explicit material that may be like contextually relevant for adults sometimes. So now what we are trying to do, as I mentioned, was that we are trying to create this evaluators for all of these categories, and we have tried several methods right now. We are exploring, trying to create binary classifiers for safe versus unsafe, where we are including all of the data from different hazard categories. We are also trying to create multiple models and a router model that basically routes on top of all of these, and they are currently not as good as this binary classifier, but basically it's about trying to get the right configuration. My gut feeling is that we can do better with some kind of so currently you see that the whole space of embeddings is all mixed up. This one doesn't really show all of the hazard categories. I have that somewhere where we have a
Yeah.
visualization where we see yeah, basically it's very complicated to disaggregate safe versus unsafe into different like discriminative classes in that
Okay.
high dimensional. So this is the one domain. Now if this is all basically, this whole project can be routed to the right kind of data set if we have the relevant you mentioned financial domain. If we have good data sets in that space, then it's very easy to create these MOE modern birds or explore. So it is kind of straightforward for us to try to uh, develop these MOEs, but I think we also want to understand if how you mentioned that there's already efforts to try to do that, bring in flash attention and the other long context rope for
Okay.
16K or more tokens.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is a good start. So a little bit related to what you see on your classification, multi-class classification. We tried this multi-class classification, and Rossi and I a while back. We did not see good positive F1s. There's a based on your data balance, there could be good bad F1s or bad F1s on each of the separate domains. So our rule of thumb is that if you have more than 4 classes to classify and we see imbalanced data set, we just switch over to the binary classification and we create multiple LoRa's for each of the class. So, and we are using this LoRa, LoRa-based routing. It's basically just use everything on the base model. And then you see if you want to classify any of the class, you just pick up that LoRa, and then you just reuse your base model output to each of the LoRa, and then you achieve lower latency and higher classification accuracy. So that's basically our methodology. And we have a blog post on that one.
Yeah, with that, I have just one point. We need to have enough data for that particular. Yeah.
Yeah, so the data curation is definitely the key that we want to have. So what I use, many of the training you see on the hallucination detection and also tool verifications. So what I do is just using the base model, base data set from the public domain, and then I just synthesize using the OSS 120B model to create more samples, trying to cover more cases. And then I also created these adversarial models to generate data sets that has never been seen before or on a different direction. So that's will just give me enough coverage on the data set side. So the 3 domains, the 3 umbrellas for this collaboration is the methodology, the base model, and the framework. So the methodology will create how we are going to create, let's just say single model, multiple class, or just a one class, multiple LoRa. So this methodology, and also the data sets curations, how we are going to generate the base data, how we are going to generate additional data using LLMs, and then also create the adversarial data sets so we can just coverage the cases we have never seen before. So this is the methodology. And then the model itself, which model we're going to pick? Are we going to pick the generative model, decoder model, or just things in between? And what's going to be the flash, attention mechanisms that we can better using the latest GPUs, and also the what kind of a context window we want to support. And also one more thing, and are we going to support multilingual or not? So this all about the model side. And then very lastly, the infrastructure, the framework. Are we going to embed this in the semantic router? Are we going to be used in other, like just ML Commons has its own facility? Maybe you can just use in that as well. So if you are able to cover all these three topics in this collaboration, then it's going to be very helpful. And a little bit for the financial side. So I came across this repo a few weeks ago, and there's a huge amount of financial data that we can data sets they used for model training. So I potentially will just using this as a starting point to create the data sets for financials. If you are using one of these specialized domain as a case study, I will just pick up the financial side. Medical side, yours is already on top of that, and then I potentially will look at the financial side and what are the guardrail models we can apply to the financial domains.
Great. So is someone working on this already, the financial data?
I have some of the work in progress, but I have not get to the point yet. But let's just see who are going to be working on it. Let's just guess all the people here. There's two people from AMD side. They are the time zone wise they do not work for them. So they are potentially going to join us from Slack channel. So if Saurabh, that is something you see as a potential areas that you want to align with, and also something that's ML Commons people you have met with want to join us, feel free to we can create a Slack channel on that, and then we can work on it. So either three ideas, three topics. Anybody who has expertise in these three topics, welcome to join. So the data set generation, the master, training mechanism, processes, and also on the model side, and also on framework side. Any of these three areas, if you see people has interest and bandwidth aligned with their work, feel free to just pin me. We can just work on that. And we are going to use the financial as the proof points for validation. So a little bit. So let us say if we are done with this topic, anybody else has any topic to share? If not, then we'll just add one more discussion. This has been running in the GitHub for a while. It has people has asked for whether we are going to be staying on the Android XProg, or are we going to support different front-end protocols like a direct HTTP connects and also Nginx. So I have some private chat with people, but let's just make it in public discussion. So I don't think this is the engine, Nginx. Sorry, it's not going to be stayed as Android XProg for now because there are already PRs from the community trying to support Nginx, and there's also proposals to support the direct HTTP route using the vLLM router. So this is a different project, not a semantic router. It's a vLLM router. So both of these ideas make perfect sense if you want to deploy it in the different configurations. If you have Android, that's great. This is ready to go. If you have Nginx as another front end, it's going to potentially use the Nginx mechanisms as the PR stands out. If you want a direct HTTP connection, then integrate with a vLLM router is yes another way to go. So there's nothing can block you. So we want to have some consensus on maybe a survey or something like that to share with the in a proposal or in the evaluation what kind of production scenarios you want to support and the pros and cons. And if you are able to get even more ideas how you are going to make a public data smoother or just a deployment models you want to align with your production, that's a great point. We can just chime in. Yeah, I agree. The Nginx is also from the company. I forgot. Kong has also have the adaptations for GIE. So that is one of the things they want to support. but in a direct connection, how the routing modules could be supported directly by Nginx is the PR stood up by the community. And also HTTP Direct is yet another potential way to go. And if you are just having the cascading effect, right? If you have top level routing and then you have the per cluster or just per domain, per tenant level routing. Now, this is typical in many of the enterprise. You have F5 sitting in the very very edge of your enterprise network. And then the F5 will do all this routing underneath, and you can have different endpoints to pick up the traffic. And each of the endpoints could be a network of its own. So that's going to be the cascading topologies that we're going to support. In that sense, how we are going to get the metrics or just signals from each of the downstream routers, and then we aggregate the decision making in the top level. So if you're considering this as a distributed environment, just like OpenAI, for example, public frontier models. And so the point you hit the API OpenAI, you are just hitting the edge, the outmost routers. There could be internal routers sitting behind. How we're going to make that happen, and what kind of metrics you are going to expose, and how will that affect your decision making. So right now, all the signals are based on configurations. There's nothing based on the metrics that you can collect from the backend, from the vLLM or from the semantic router. How that will impact your multi-stage routing processes is still something TBD. We have not seen anybody making that a proposal, but I do believe that is a great way to proceed. If you have any good ideas, that is something I hopefully can see some of the good PRs on that idea.
Yeah, I think we should monitor all these projects like the HTTP Direct Connect and all that. I think they are probably 4 to 5 months away because ext proc kind of started earlier, and maybe in the next 3 to 4 months, I don't know, or maybe more, we will have more connectivity options.
Yeah, so the vLLM router started by Meta is one of the things we want to integrate. We have not started yet. So the proposal has been running for a while. So if anybody want to take a look and at the router side, that will be great. The pull request, let me just quickly get the PR.
Yeah, that's a fork of the SGLang router, right?
Yes. So this will get us into the HTTP Direct path. So once we are hooking up with the vLLM router, it's become a natural extension in that ecosystem.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is vLLM router itself also going to have either already has or will be having a semantic routing layer? Like,
so this is a proposal. Yeah.
No,
so
independent of this proposal, because it was forked from the SGLang router, they may be having their own ideas about the semantic routing. Like maybe I know I need to dig into it.
I don't think that is our idea is unique. So if they want to start something on their own, it's perfectly fine with us. It's just from our perspective how we are going to expand the front end protocols so we can cover more deployments use cases. So if vLLM router or just SGLang want to have their own implementation of a semantic router, that is up to them. So we do not have any influence over there.
Right. Yeah, I saw this in December, and yeah, maybe it's good to follow up now.
Right.
Can you elaborate what's the desired system diagram like for this integration path with vLLM router?
So right now we have a very opinionated API layer. So the API layer is just a direct XProg. So if we want to have a factory of API layer, so the API could be abstracted in that factory, and then underneath could be the Xprog, it could be HTTP direct or Nginx, or maybe some other things. So that's going to be the ideal solution. So if you're, I chatted with somebody in the Slack, so this potentially could be an interesting way to go. But if there's anything that could be even better design, you come up with a better design pattern, feel free to share and also create a proposal.
Yeah, I'll probably look into it and come up with something. Try to come up with something. Yeah.
Yeah. Just have a proposal first, so people are not as carried in their way.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, very lastly, the performance side. So all these signal-based routines are based on the model, on the anticipation that the model itself can manage the load. We are coming to the point that we are going to use the load indicators to balance load on the different vLLM or different dynamos, for example. I just briefly mentioned this profile friendly token length based load balancing. There's also a proposal, I think it's not merged yet. There's also a PR to be evaluated on the token latency, time spent on TPOT. So that is one of the another ways we can estimate what the load indicator can help us to select the better models on that front. This is non-exhaustive, by the way. So all these are very reactive, meaning that we do not do the proactive load avoidance. We are just doing the reactive load balancing. So we are not preempt on any of the load injection into different backends. We just react passively based on the indicators, either by the token latency or by some of the, I think token latency is the only way we are react to. But if you are looking at the proactive way, there's most things to consider. Right? You can have the expected queue length and expected latency, because this is token latency is not linearly. It's actually going very fast if you have lots of requests in the queue. So that is not being evaluated at all. So I think at one point we need to address these use cases, try how to achieve a load balancing by doing more intelligent node aware require a model selection in that idea.
Yeah, and that's where again a possible intersection with LLMD sort of scheduling, because that's also doing the queue length based. But
That's true.
they do it for the single model, right?
Right.
But in that community also sometimes they discuss about multi-model.
That's true. So this is especially true for multi-models, because not all the models react to the same way as the queue length. If you are using a small model, the queue length could be even longer as long as you are giving enough GPUs and memory without hitting any of the the pivotal points that we see the latency. But for big models, it could be even trickier, especially when you have the VM configuration for the batch size, things like that. So we have to infer on different different characteristics, what kind of configuration, what kind of queue length, what kind of models reaction to queue length will behave, and then we pick up the best endpoint. So the PR right now is purely based on the token latency. It does not have anything else in consideration, which I believe has a lot of potential to improve. So I just put that as a proposal. So if you see something that you want to, you have great ideas and something that you can help, that's great.
Before we end, I just wanted to ask anybody on the community what are the use cases that you might be seeing? I don't know, Fang or anybody sort of which you think are a priority for semantic router? What are you guys seeing from your market and customers?
If that's something like trade secrets, you don't have to reveal. But if that is something like very high level, you can share. That's great.
Yeah. Any public knowledge?
Right, we can leave this offline.
Maybe different ingress provider. I don't know. Like some companies class might have opinionated about which components or which open source components they want to adopt, like especially gateway or ingress. Maybe they want that flexibility, but it's just my guess. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, that we are seeing different people, different companies from different backgrounds making contributions. So whether that is frontier labs or just enterprise business or startup companies, I think the use cases could vary. Let's see what could be, what we can help them. Right, we are almost at the top of the hour, and I will upload the recording to the YouTube channel. And let's sync up on Slack channel. And if that, just based on what we have discussed here, if there's anything that you want to expand or just get more information, just feel free to pin on the Slack channel. See you next time.
All right, see you next time. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.